All right, we got an extra like triple or quadruple XL super size edition of Wrestling Wrapped starting now.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna like take this, cut it, and add it into my own separate segment for later on, so I can upload this to my channel. This is our Wrestling Wrap for the week. There is loads of stuff happening in the wrestling world, as you know, and if you have updates, please feel free to chime in. But we're gonna go through as much as possible. Ton of WWE layoffs within the last few days. Vince McMahon decided to cut a big portion of his roster by either laying them off or furloughing. And so we're going to go through some of those names right now. And there's even been some more that have been recently added to the list as of today. So we have Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, Primo, Epico, Zack Ryder, No Way Jose, Mike Canales, Ref Mike Chioda, Lance Storm. They recently added to this list Cassius Ono, aka Chris Hero, who was furloughed. Actually, can't confirm he was furloughed. We're not sure. It was either laid off or furloughed. Also, we have 47-year-old Chris Guy, who signed on recently in 2019 as a coach and had recently, prior to that, worked with Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, and many indies. And he was also in WWE developmental from 2004 through 2007. And he was also given an axe recently. And it was said on Twitter, because this was obviously trending. It was one of the top trending things. And if you looked even under trending on Twitter when those WWE releases came out, a lot of those names were like filling the top 10, like across the globe. Rusev was one of the highest trending names on Twitter that day. So Liam Stewart had posted this, and we had shared this in our little group message on Twitter. He had said, according to @WWE corporate website, these cuts save $4 million, also known as what WWE paid Goldberg for Saudi and Mania. So what are your guys' thoughts on everything? And actually, I'll get to you guys in a second because I want to hear what you think about Vince laying off all these people to save him $4 million a month when he's paying big superstars in the industry like Goldberg for 2 appearances, that same amount of money he's about to save from cutting 30-plus employees. But before we get to your answer on that, I also want to bring up the fact that the WWE universe really came together when these WWE releases were put out there. And we had so many people in the business, from Paige to Renee Young to Lexi Kaufman, who's known as Alexa Bliss, come out and say things on Twitter to just speak their piece. Lexi said, very hard day for the WWE family with a heart broken. And Renee Young said, my heart breaks for anyone who has lost their job during this. I feel sick about it. Sending you guys so much love. And Paige said, my heart is breaking for my wrestling family. And we did see people like Drake Maverick post on his Twitter a video crying hysterically over this. So I just want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think this was a good decision? What do you think about the wrestlers? Where will they go next? And will they be rehired at some point by WWE?
Whew, that's a
I'm just going to jump in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. You started.
I thought it was, at first, I didn't think it was great that anyone lost their job. But the money-saving aspect, of course, I saw that perspective. But when I saw that tweet about Goldberg, it just, sent me over the top. Because I was like, if you really are throwing money away like that for something, for Goldberg, he really was money thrown away. I'm going to say it. Brock Lesnar as well. We know how much he gets paid. And just you could have shaved, you could have done anything to kind of try and save everyone's jobs. But just knowing that, the fact that they are using it so frivolously on other things, but they took people's jobs away, that was the biggest thing for me. Of course, my heart goes out to everybody who lost their jobs. It's such a hard time. But yeah, that was my biggest thought. It was the fact that they're wasting all that money on that kind of thing is what took it over the top for me.
Well, I mean, you can't. I feel bad for all of them that lost their jobs. I think it sucks. And the thing that you have to think about of WWE is that we all know that there's people behind the scenes that lost their jobs as well or got furloughed for now. Who knows when they're coming back, if they're coming back. But if you're WWE, and I get you're trying to save money, but guess what? You're still making TV shows and you're still getting paid. I think I saw it's like $70 million a month or something for these TV contracts. And I don't know if that's Raw and SmackDown combined or that's each, but I don't understand why they would do this right now. It seems real crappy of them to be like, well, we got to just get all these people out of here now because we might as well, like, what? Why couldn't you wait? What's another month or two going to do? We're like, let's see what's happening with this. And then at the end of the summer, if things are still looking bleak, then just be like, listen, we kept you guys on, but we just can't do this right now. Like it just doesn't work for us. I think that would be way better. And I think it just makes them look, it doesn't make them look good in the eyes of other companies around the world, especially other wrestling companies that are not doing this and are paying their people that work for them. Like, it just, I get you have such a huge, company and there's a lot of people that work for you. But I also did see something too about the tax dividends that they're getting as well. So it's like, they're still going to be making profit at the end of this year with what's happening right now. So it's like, unless you're not going to make profit, then I understand the idea of cutting people. But the fact that you're probably going to make one of the highest profits you've ever made to date, and now you're going to make more money because now you're not paying all these people, it's just bull. I mean, I don't know. It really, to me, being a wrestling fan and being a fan of WWE, like, it really disheartens me and makes me just, I don't know, sadly not want to be a fan of them anymore. Like, I don't know where me being a fan and watching, like, where I even fit in this anymore. Like, I don't know if I even want to watch them now. It's like, I can just not watch. Like, it's not like, and just read recaps of what happened. Like, it's not gonna hurt me physically or, more emotionally, being like, oh, I really love wrestling, but it makes me feel really crappy to see people being treated this way.
Right.
Yeah, it's so because usually around this time of year, there's usually post WrestleMania cuts. Maybe 4, 5, 7 superstars, like on a big year. And those are people that, we really haven't seen on TV in a long time. So obviously I'm not trying to pinpoint anyone on these lists, but like your Primo, your Epico, your Eric Young, those guys who are just not being used at all. Whether this was happening or not, they might have not made it through this. They may have, they may not. Who knows? We have never seen anything to the extent of there is near 30 names. And that's just the ones that have been reported. And who knows, there's so many other talents in NXT, so many people, like you said, behind the scenes that are either being released or furloughed. And the thought with that is there are so many stories from different companies or even different sport organizations.
Yeah.
Where they're sending trying to make agreements of pay cuts, or these people are going to lower their salary for X amount of time, or the requesting, the NBA is trying to have after a certain date, they're cutting NBA player salaries by 25%. Well, they're trying to see, because they're trying to work with each other, make some type of agreement, because they understand, okay, because there's no money coming in, we have to make some type of adjustments. WWE, as you said, Tom, is still having money come in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an issue of then, okay, well, we got to make these cuts or we got to lower people's pay because we're about to lose money. You're not losing the money. And then why aren't, as some companies, they the CEO, some of the highest ups are cutting their salary and trying to help their employees. Those are ones that are not unions. Well, WWE ain't a union. So why aren't they trying to do that to help with the PR, to help each other? While, like you said, AEW hasn't done anything like this. Ring of Honor hasn't done anything like this.
Can I speak for this for a second? Because I think I know why. So WWE is a publicly traded company, meaning there's investors, right? So what my understanding is that, from my own opinion, is that this could be a situation where, they had their projections for the year, and obviously everyone was thrown off by the coronavirus situation and the economy, and the stock market's crashing. So now, even if WWE is not losing money in the sense of, like, they're not going to be a company, they won't be around, they're still profitable. The investors are probably losing money, and the people that have stock in it. So to them, because I watched this documentary recently, if you guys watch Netflix, Dirty Money, it's really interesting. Every episode's about a different scandal, but it all involves money, fraud, whatever. And there was a situation with Wells Fargo. So go watch the Wells Fargo episode. But it kind of ties into this a little bit, because if you're not meeting the investor needs of what they're expecting and the projections, to them it's a loss. So to save them, they're probably laying off, getting rid of these people in order to save on the back end so that these investors can still make as much money as they're supposed to make, which, to be honest, it's not ethical. It may not be good values when you're looking at humanity and people and, like, livelihood, but we live in a capitalist society in America, and that's how business is run. And so, business is number one, unfortunately, to these people that are running the businesses. So I think that that's what's happening, and it has nothing to do with anything else. And honestly, like, in my opinion, yes, you could get rid of one person, like a Goldberg, and not use him the rest of the year to save you that $4 million for 1 month. Yeah, we'll see what happens next month. But, I mean, they're not going to do that. They want their big names to draw in people, especially during times when they don't know if viewership could be hard to come by.
I agree with everything. I'm sorry to cut you off, Tom, but I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying, Gabby. The one thing that I would throw in with that, though, is one other big issue when it comes to stocks is PR. Mm-hmm. This is not positive PR at all for the WWE. Like you said, the entire top 10 trending items on Twitter were all negative things about what was happening with the WWE. That affects the stock market too. It might not affect
but the stock market's already coming down because Corona, so.
Right, but it also still affects, it might not affect the big investors, but it impacts, if I wanted to go on and buy some stock or sell something that's like, oh, this is a bad move by them, I might not want to represent that company. And it affects it that way. Tom, I cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, also, WWE, their stocks are they're not like a Apple or whatever, Google, where it's like $500 a stock. It's like $30 to $80 a share or something like that. But to me, I get what you're saying, Gabby, but in the end, they are still getting money in. So it's like, you're basically getting money in, and I get they want to keep their stockholders. And I did see there was like,
it's not just stockholders. It's not people like me and you. I'm talking about, like, their big investors.
No, I know. No, I know. But also, like, there was people, but they're still putting on 3 TV shows a week, and they're still getting commercials and payment through that. You know what I mean?
But
like, if you're Starburst
they're
or
losing
Snickers,
money.
But they're not, though, because they're still, like,
in the eye of an investor, they're losing money, but that's my point. Not in the eye of, like, me and you, like the average everyday person, but in the eye of a business perspective, like, the investor is going to have to take a decrease. So they want to kind of minimize that gap of how much the investor is going to lose, I think.
I get that, but I also think it's like a weird. It sucks because they are a publicly traded company. To where, like, if they were more private, I could see this not happening because of that. But, like, the fact that, I don't know, it's like weird. It's like you all work together and you're a big family, and, like, it's, we're all part of this WWE universe and WWE family, and they're just like, oh, but Jim so-and-so invested $2 million in this, and oh, he's only going to get a $1 million return this year. Sorry, Epico and Primo, but you don't get no money anymore. Like, have fun. You know what I mean? It's like
the greedy side of business.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think it's a weird thing to have happen, and it just sucks for all those people. I also feel like there's the flip side too, is that it's a blessing in disguise for a bunch of these people, like on this list, where I think it's a good way of them getting out of the company that they were in very long contracts with. I think I saw like either Gallows and Anderson or Maria and Mike were in contracts till like 2024 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's another 4 years away, where they're Mike Kanellis is doing kind of on 205 Live, but then he's like sitting at home most of the time this year
and
like,
catering.
Yeah. Or if he even gets brought to the show. I don't know if he even gets brought to the show every week, like before when they were doing arena shows. So it's like he's just sitting at home doing nothing, and I think that also adds to the greediness of WWE, to where let's lock down everybody so nobody else can get these people, but also let's lock them down, but then not do anything with them. So, and then when they want out of their contract, be like, nope, sorry, you're not going anywhere. You're ours, even though you're independent contractors.
But that's also, you agree to sign that. So if you agree to sign that 4-year contract, sitting on your couch doing nothing, and you know that that's happening. Then...
But you don't agree to sit on your couch when you sign that contract.
No, but like, you have to understand that. Like,
hey, if they want to give me a contract to sit on my couch, sure, sign me up.
That's also when you could probably renegotiate. If you feel like, hey, like I'm not doing anything, you could probably walk in there and try to renegotiate that contract.
Like we saw it though. We've seen it over the last year. Luke Harper tried to get out of his contract multiple times. If you listen to Talk Is Jericho,
to be honest,
Sean Spears, same thing. Like, I mean, it's
Mike Kanellis won because he was threatening to leave, and they re-signed him, so we got more money. And
exactly, yeah. So at least he like was smart. At least I would think that's smart. Of like, hey, okay, fine. If you're not gonna let me go, then give me more money, and then I'll, hopefully they're socking this money away and saving it. And,
yeah. Well, also, talking about some of the producers we lost, I find it odd that, like, example, Sarah Stock is a producer that was laid off, but she was actively working and creative on the storyline of Mandy Rose and the Otis and Sonya Deville, Dolph Ziggler situation. So why was someone who's creating such a great storyline, a female writer nonetheless, during this time of the women's evolution and everything, being laid off?
Yeah, and the mastermind behind that storyline, I'm forgetting her last name. Her first name was Andrea. She was actually a comedian out here in Los Angeles, got signed. She was the mastermind starting that whole storyline. She was also one of the people that was released or furloughed. And that's one of the things we've said on this show. Between the four of us, we're like, what's his best storyline going into WrestleMania? We're all pretty much in agreement that it was Otis and Mandy. So,
it was one of the best storylines. It's crazy
that they're removing some of those people as well. It's just, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, and so essentially it's odd because they're currently obviously working during this. Like, it's not like they're sitting at home on their couch. They're actually actively creating creative. So that was odd to me. But on top of all this, you also have people that may not have been announced to be laid off or furloughed, but are probably in that same situation. Maybe WWE's keeping it hush-hush because they don't want to, PR-wise, like you guys mentioned, make it worse. Because obviously there's a lot of kickback from those announcements. So, and a lot of like terrible memes and things going around, like I read earlier, the one tweet. But I have been looking at people we're friends with and know at WWE, and you guys have as well. And we noticed that some of their Instagram handles have changed. Their bios have changed. They've removed their affiliation with WWE or NXT or whatever it may be. So are they signaling to us that they are now disconnected and furloughed, laid off? I don't know, but we're seeing that on social media with people that haven't even been announced.
Yeah. And you're right. And who knows how long it'll be before we do find out about those people. And I think we're all pretty much in agreement also saying the fact that they're not done. Like, we're probably going to see more of these released, more news. Wednesday appeared to be the day for the bulk of them. I mean, people are kind of biting their nails looking at the calendar when Wednesday hits, because all of a sudden we might have another round of this.
Right.
But also, is it Wednesday? Because we were kind of talking about it earlier. I looked at the list and I go, there's no one from SmackDown on this list. Mm-hmm. So does that stuff start happening Monday? Or do we wait again until Wednesday or Thursday, like after Raw and then NXT, and then go from there again, where I just don't think it's going to stop. It's like, unless you're in a major storyline, I think you're kind of,
4 months ago, 4 months ago, Rusev was in the biggest storyline on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
True.
He ended the year. The year ended on Monday Night Raw with the wedding.
Yeah.
Also,
if you have a call from Mark Carano, don't answer it.
There's a lot of that going around, I also want to take note that Ringside News reported from an inside source, Brad Shepard is reporting that WWE said Vince McMahon is miserable over the whole situation. He had to lay off some employees who are not only tenured, but also loyal. So think about that. How many of these employees are tenured?
Mike Chioda.
Yeah, Mike Chioda. Wow.
1989 is when he started.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah. It could be that he's making a lot of money, and so like it could be that his salary is high up there, so he's like, well, we're.
I think it's like a that, and it's also like they want, we've always been told that they want, like, which is so funny. I'm gonna say this out loud, and then we're gonna laugh about it. They want younger looking people on TV, yet your WrestleMania headliner is Goldberg. Okay, all gray beard. Goldberg.
but again, you're talking about the cutting the cost. Why doesn't Vince cut his salary? Why doesn't Shane cut his salary? Why doesn't Stephanie cut her salary?
I did see that they did say that all executives and board members were not getting paid. I did. Okay. There was like a leak of like a video Vince made to employees. And it was like, I saw the transcript of it. Who knows how real that was.
If that's happening, okay, that helps. But
I don't think they got a cut or they're not getting paid right now. I forget what it said. But.
So you guys, I'm not sure about that either. But there's also a return date that was given to employees that were furloughed, and that date is July 1st, but it isn't concrete. The employees could return sooner or later than that. It really just depends on the economy and when the office can open back up, because even though they're running business with their tapings, I don't think the office is running business. So the quote also said, I'm sure Trump has a big influence on what happens. Vince being a Trump guy, he'll be first in line to try and open things back up as soon as possible. That could be very good news for the employees furloughed. Well, speaking of that, it's also been news that Vince McMahon is on, it was announced by actually Business Insider that Vince McMahon is one of 20 people on the advisory board to reopen the economy that Trump has, put in place to help with this reopening, the 3 phases that were announced through the media recently of reopening our economy. So Vince McMahon will be one of those people.
Would you guys go to the first show that opened? Say they were like Staples Center, first SmackDown.
No.
I wouldn't either.
Really? I'm so ready to get
my mask. Let's see my mask and my gloves. Like, I go like that.
That security wouldn't let you in because they don't normally allow people wearing masks into wrestling events.
Well, they're gonna have to now.
Yeah.
I'll buy my sheet mask at the merch stand, my black sheet mask. You're like, stay away.
Well, listen,
where's their shield mask from WrestleMania? Like WrestleMania 30, they had those cool masks they came out with.
Yeah.
When it is safe to go to events, I cannot wait to get out and go to an event and be around people and see something fun.
That.
I'm so over sitting inside, but we're doing
it. When it's completely safe.
Yeah, it's just like day one. No, I'm gonna wait a little longer.
Yeah.
So Kirby's gonna help me finish the rest of the news here.
Sure.
So additionally, hello, say hi. If you're watching the video, you guys can all see Curbs. So, also, in addition to everything going on, the XFL has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So, I also have a feeling that maybe a reason why some of these employees are being let go, even though they're individual companies, could be that Vince is filing for bankruptcy as he is connected to the XFL.
Yeah, that doesn't help anything.
It was filed by
Vince definitely
Vince
lost a lot of money.
McMahon's Alpha Entertainment. And so it lists that the league has both 10 to 50 million in estimated assets and estimated liabilities. It's just very interesting. So I almost wonder if like that bankruptcy, on top of losing arena sales, tickets, and merch sales, that all combined is what's going on. Because obviously he's still shooting for Fox and USA, so it's not the TV schedule, it's the sales and the merch from the shows.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the live events that are not doing anything.
Yep. And the last bit of information I think we should really like talk about is the fact that WWE's Howard Finkel passed away also this week. He's 69 years old. He was the first employee at WWE, and he is known to be the most recognizable voice in the history of the company. And so this was a big loss this week on top of all the layoffs in the news. So I know it's just been a very like overwhelming time right now for WWE fans and WWE employees. So any thoughts you guys want to put out about that?
I mean, Howard Finkel was the guy. Now, I know Brian's already mentioned on how young he is, so he might not have as good of an idea of this. But he
Very
was
true.
the voice of multiple generations, and it's pretty much forever. It's been every aspiring wrestler's dream to hear the Fink say, "And no, I can't do it," but like just to emphasize of the "and new" champion. I mean, that was like when I was a dream. My dream as a kid was to win the Intercontinental Championship and hear the Fink say my name. And then, when I started doing all these interviews, started working for AfterBuzz or for whatever, I'm getting a chance to meet all these people. One of my big ones that unfortunately I never got a chance, like, I need to interview Fink because I need to beg him on video to announce me. And like, I'll do whatever it takes to do it. But unfortunately it never happened but he's, like you said, the first employee. He's the one who came up with the name Wrestlemania. He is the voice. And you see all different current, past wrestlers that, tweeted or posted their condolences. Everyone had a caring story. Like, the one that really got me was Vickie Guerrero. She tweeted about when Eddie passed away, the Fink flew on the plane with Eddie's body from Minnesota to Phoenix or wherever they live because he didn't want Eddie to travel alone. And it's just like, that's just like a glimpse of the kindness that this guy was to everyone in the wrestling family. And he's going to be incredibly missed.
Definitely.
Sure.
Anybody else have thoughts that they want to share on that?
I mean, I just think it's just that iconic voice. This is welcome to WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, they play it at every.
Oh, it's terrible, but still better than me.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's been a heavy week.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, we send our condolences to obviously Howard Finkel and his family, and then anybody else who's been affected by any of the firings, layoffs, furloughs this week as well. And I know that with Howard Finkel, Tommy Dreamer had been a very close friend of his, and he also posted on Twitter, like, he was very upset, but like he had been there for him, which was really sweet. There's been a lot of tributes, people, saying how they felt about him, like Josh had mentioned. And because we always end Wrestling Wrap with Kevin Owens, I'm going to let you guys know what Kevin Owens had to say about this. Well, he had retweeted what WWE's statement was about the WWE Hall of Famer. And then this was his quote. He said, "Howard was the best. It's that simple. I'll never forget the last few times I saw him, the excitement he still had for the industry, the genuine concern he showed when asking about how my family was doing despite his own declining health. I'm so grateful I got to know him. So I'll end it off there for our wrestling wrap this week. Thanks, Kevin, and thanks to all you guys for being a part of our show. And please leave your comments with your thoughts on wrestling wrap and any of the things we discussed in today's podcast.
Absolutely, and you guys know there's still plenty more with these news, with all these releases and furloughs. I'm sure next week we'll have even more insight in it. We'll be talking more about it then, and there's some wrestling too. So maybe we'll talk about that from time to time. But please keep the conversation going. Like I said, put your favorite memories of Howard Finkel or your thoughts on the news that we were just discussing in the comments on YouTube, on iTunes. And of course, you can talk to us all over social media. Thanks so much for all tuning in, guys. For Gabby, Loren, Tom Connolly, and Brian Santos, I'm Josh Sheriff, and we will see you later.
Bye, guys.